No, I was waiting here.
Oh, there I am.
Would you let me to close the door?
Yeah.
Pickle, Pickle's in here.
That's all right.
Oh, Rosa now, right? Says Rose
Tony Austin watching Rosita.
is what?
Hello, I'm just going to wait to see if there's any more that wants to join us. I didn't give enough notice tonight. Hi, Tony.
Hi. 3 people are watching. Say something.
Oh, the sound. Chuck her out. Just getting rid of the noise. So I'm just going to wait and see if a few more people join, and then we'll start.
Is your phone on silent?
It should be. Yeah.
Okay. Don't want to hear. I don't want. You don't want them to hear ding ding.
There's 5 people. Okay.
Let's say 5. Oh.
I'll make a start, and then people can catch up and watch as we go. Okay, so tonight, I must apologise first. I haven't been on for a couple of weeks. I've been a little poorly, so I had to take some time out. So I'm back working. So I thought I'd join you all tonight and do a little quick live on the acrylic dip system. Okay, so I'm using Backscratchers. So I've got the clear acrylic and I've got the dry glaze. I've got the base glaze and the finish glaze, and I've already prepped my nail with their soap that you have to do before doing any of these. It pH balances the nail correct, so there's no use of any dehydrators, primers or anything like that. So by all means, ask questions and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, so I'm gonna do, so these are the 2 fingers I'm doing. I'm gonna do the camera's about a tip on this one, and I'm just gonna leave this as an overlay so I can show you the difference. So basically I've prepped with my soap, and now I'm using a 600 grit nail file, and I'm just going over my nail.
Listen, Kaylee is watching.
Okay. I've got my 9-year-old helping me, Rosie.
10.
Oh, 10. So sorry, she turned 10 a week ago. So she's helping me. I think she's just trying to use it as an excuse not to go to bed.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Okay, going on to the next one. Okay. Okay. So you don't need to wipe with isopropyl alcohol or anything like that. You just give it a good old brush and brush it clean. Okay, so to start with, we put a base down of the base resin, this one, before we apply the tip. But what I'll do is I'll do both bases at the same time, then do the overlay, and then finish the one off with the tip. I think that's probably better. Okay, so you get some on your brush and you sort of glide it. So you push it down and glide it like this. You see?
Yes, I see.
Okay. And that's all you do. I'll do one in individual so you can see me do it twice. Okay, so and then I'm using my glaze dryer, and just a tiny little spray like that. So I'll go on to this one. So you always put the base glaze down first before you add a tip. Okay, so I'll do this one, and again you sort of glide it over, and it's sort of, there we go, and then it sort of spreads. Okay, quick spray, and that's all it takes. I'm going to wait for that to dry a couple of seconds. Okay, so I'm just going to take the lid off my clear acrylic dip. Okay, so next step would be, so with an overlay I only do one dip because it's all that's needed. Okay, with an extension, depending on how long your extension is, you can do 2, or if it's a long extension, 3 dips. Okay, so again with your base, you don't go quite up to the cuticle, you go there and you there we go, and we float it across. Then you you push your finger in and dip, and then if you with your customers you would do this just to get off any surplus. Okay, and then with your base resin, you could use the top one, but I use the base one because it's just a little bit thicker. Okay, because you don't want to drag that acrylic, I tap there and then we let it sort of float. Okay, it's a really quick way of doing overlays. Okay, I'm going to spray that just a little bit. Oh, I didn't get that bit there. Just a tiny bit. You can go straight in with the finished resin, but sometimes I like to just give it a little spray. Okay, we're just going to wait for that to dry a little. So when it starts drying, you can see it dimpling slightly. I can't see it dimpling. Let me give it another quick spray. There we go. The spray smells like air freshener with a hint of, I don't know if it's marzipan or something. It smells lovely. Okay. So you can see the dimpling. It's drying. Okay. So, what are you doing? With the finished resin, I'm going over the top. Again, just floating it over. So you're not dragging it, you just float it. Okay. There we go. You don't have to go right up to the cuticle. Because with this brand, I'm not sure with the other dip brands, but with this brand, if you're doing overlays, it grows and you don't see the growth, which would bug quite a few people. So it's really good with this brand. And just give it a quick spray. Okay, and that is that overlay done. Okay, you wait for it to dry, you give it a bit of a buff, and then you can top coat or put your polish on, whatever it is that you're choosing to do. Or leave it natural and just put a clear top coat on, which is ideal, especially matte top coats, which is ideal for people that aren't really allowed nail enhancements, but they want something to give their nails a little bit of strength, and it looks totally natural. Okay, so I can show you that with the base, the matte top coat with that. So with this one, okay, we've put the first base resin down, and I just need to find a tip. I've just dropped one on the floor, Rosie.
What one is it?
Tip on the floor. Look underneath me. It's on the floor. No, you could have done it from your side. Oh, not to worry. I've just dropped a tip on the floor. It's not to worry. Okay, I'm just going to find a tip that fits. Actually, that's not too bad. I'm using, at the moment, I've got Phoenix Glitters tips. Let me just open my glue. You can use the resin to stick your tips down. I do personally prefer a little bit of glue, but that's personal preference. I think it's what I'm used to, really. Okay. I'm just going to use my pinchers just to make sure that it's on. Can you see?
Do you need to cut it?
I will do in a moment. Just going to make sure it's set first. Just putting the lid onto my tips because I've got a habit of knocking everything.
Would you like me to get the scissors?
Hmm?
Would you like me to get the scissors?
No, I've got a tip cutter. That's my daughter trying to be all helpful, bless her. Okay, so I'm going to cut it to any length, really, whichever you prefer. And I'm just going to file down my sides, make sure it's all level. I always make sure it comes out flat. Can you see? To give the nice effect. And then what I do is I just literally just thin out those wings just very slightly. Okay. And obviously if you're using tips with whirls, obviously blend your tip in like normal. Okay, but mine's a whirlless tip. But what I am going to do is just give it a bit of a file over and make sure everything will adhere to it. Okay. So for those that sculpt, you notice it's going up very slightly, so that will give me the correct structure. Okay, so you can create an apex with this. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm not very happy with that bit there. Let me just file that bit a bit more. So I'm using a 180 grit. Okay. And then we start. So I'm just getting everything ready. Starting off with the base resin.
Do you need a dip?
I will do. And we start from just past the tip. Okay. So like you would do your acrylic in 3 beads, this is no different really. And I'm dipping. Okay. Shake it off, move it to the side. And this time when I put my resin on, still on the base resin, I go just a little bit further back. Okay, so I'm going to there, and because we've got acrylic here, you need to let it float. So you're not dragging the acrylic off, okay? And then we dip again. And shake. I've got a bit there that's sticking out. That's it. And we do the same again. Bit further back. Okay. Letting it float. Making sure not to flood the side walls. And dip. And then put the resin on once more. So remember, floating. I'm relatively new to this system, but I actually quite like it. Okay. Right, so if I turn it sideways, I can see that it needs a bit more. So I'm going to put a bit more on. Okay, so I'm just going to dip the top bit. Okay. And a bit more. Okay. Okay, I can see just a very slight dip here. Sometimes I do it and I don't get the dip at all, but sometimes if you do, I tend to get the base resin. And if you can see, I just fill like you would with a gel. Okay. Right, it's still a slight dip there, but I think once I'm filed, that will go. Okay, so again, not too much at the cuticle, because it grows out naturally looking. So I think I've got just a tad too much on the end. So once I've filed, I'll reassess it. Has anyone got any questions so far? Okay, with this system, the base resin is thicker than the finished resin. So depending on how thick or thin nail enhancement you want is really which one you would use. Okay, right, so I'm going to be waiting for this one to dry, but while it is, I'm going to buff the other one. So let me see if I've got my 240. Hang on. Yeah, so I've got a 240 file, because you're not with the overlay, you're not shaping, you're literally just giving it a quick buff. Okay, so okay, just making sure there's nothing down the side walls. So we've got no build up or anything. I'm just checking sure there's nothing dripped underneath. And that is all there is to an overlay. It is so simple and quick. I'll show you it with the top coat on. Just a bit there, a bit shiny. And it's cool. Within 45 minutes, not even that I don't think, you would get your overlays in and out, no problems at all. Just looking for my mat. Okay, I've got a velvet one from Blue Sky. Really like this one. Hang on, I've picked up their hard gel and not with the velvet. Just bear with me. There we go. Velvet, Blue Sky. Okay. You could buff to a shine. I'm putting the velvet on just to show you that when it's cured, it looks supernatural. So if you've got anyone that can't have enhancements, it's brilliant for. I'm just going to put my hand in the lamp, bear with me. Anyone got any questions for me so far? As I say, I'm relatively new to this, so
it goes blue.
Go on then.
Tell me when
Mm-hmm.
you need to finish.
Okay. Let me just wipe that off. Okay. One natural overlay. Your customer's got the added strength that they want, but it looks totally natural. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. So I'm just going to do the other one. It should be dry now, yeah. So sidewalls first. Always remember when you're doing your sidewalls, go from one side to the next, so you're not overfiling one side more than the other. I think it would be easier for people that wanted to do their own, like nail techs that haven't got a lot of time and they just want to do a quick set that they can paint. This would be ideal. It's as strong as ordinary acrylic. Okay, I'm just debulking that end bit because I've got just a bit too much on that end. Okay, cuticle. I just need to debulk just a little bit more. Okay, I'm just going to bring that in so they're not wide. I don't like wide nails at the ends. Got a bit of a thing about it. Okay, pretty much done. Never comes out quite as good when you go live for some unknown reason. Okay, cuticle. Okay, I think that's the best I'm going to get it tonight. Okay, we do have a top coat with Backscratchers. Let me just get it. It's like a sealer. It has got a hint of blue to it. So if you've got a customer that doesn't like a blue tinge, it's not good. Sorry, I've just spotted a bit that I didn't like. Hang on. Okay, that'll do. It's just demo. Okay. You can buff these to a shine like you would in an ordinary manicure. Okay. I'm just doing that so you can see I've got dust under there. Okay, there we go. Dip and an overlay, both dips. One extension, one overlay. Really super quick and easy to use. Okay. Okay, it was a quickie tonight, just to get me back in the swing of things. Okay, any ideas for next week, let me know. And thank you for joining. Thank you. Bye.